Amigos de Radio Oasis, estamos aquí en esta tarde en el escenario donde en unas horas más se va a presentar el grupo Erasure. Estamos aquí con Andy Bell. Andy, welcome to Radio Oasis.
Hi.
And nice to meet you again. We talked about a couple of years, I think, when you come along.
Right, okay. Nice to see you.
Andy, how you feel with Erasure in this time?
To be honest, I kind of feel like, we played quite a few times in South America, and we seem to have had a bit of a resurgence, like in the UK. And I think when you, I don't know why, but it seems like the UK, if you have a success there, it seems to kind of, it's like a Chinese whisper going around everywhere. So I just think we've been really, really lucky, Erasure. And we do work very hard. We tour quite often. So but I just feel kind of sometimes I can't believe that we're still going.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I was following your career since your very beginning.
Maybe.
Yeah. And I'm wondering how you manage to maintain this career over the last 30 years.
Well, I think the main thing, or one thing that really helps, is being on a tiny label, being on Mute Records. Because I think if we'd have been on a major label, I think we would have been dropped a long time ago. We had in North America, we've been with Sire, with Elektra, with Maverick. So I think if it was the same, if we were the big label in the UK, maybe we wouldn't be here anymore. But at the same time, that label, Mute, because it's so small, has its own ups and downs as well. So we kind of we go along with their, whether they're being successful or not. They have. I was going to say, they've been sold a number of times. So our catalogue is kind of scattered all over the place. So we don't really quite know where everything is, but we just carry on.
I fell in love with the Brit Invasion's early 80s, with many bands like yours. What about the other bands at that time, like Pet Shop Boys?
Yes, Pet Shop Boys have done really, really well. They've done really well, and they kind of, I think they're much more, more media savvy than we are, because they're brought up in the media. And I think they're kind of, in some ways, I love their music, but I think in some ways they're much more approachable for kind of commercials music, because they love dance music, mostly dance music, and they seem to have lots of high friends, so I think with Erasure, we just do our own thing. And we don't really move in those circles of show business friends and things. So we're quite different, but I think it's amazing how quite a few of those bands that were around at that time, like The Cure, for instance, and even Depeche Mode, they're amazing, like in live, and but not necessarily in the UK. It's strange.
All through your albums, I'd like to ask you, what's your favorite Erasure album?
I have a few Erasure albums. It kind of changes sometimes, but my favorite is Chorus, and then my second favorite would be Nightbird. From 2005, I think. Yeah. But and I do like Erasure, the album, as well. But I also like Love Boat because it's so strange, So it's I don't listen so much to the commercial albums, yeah, because you kind of get bored with hearing the same songs over and over again, even though you have to play them, you know. Yeah,
I understand. There are many labels to call dance music, European dance music. We used to call you high energy, synth pop, Brit pop.
yeah.
And what about the really sound of Erasure compared to the music today, electro EDM or electronic music today?
To be honest, I don't really know very much of the music today. I mean, I hear sometimes, you know, I was listening on the aeroplane, is a way to catch up, but you know, I hear some tracks, maybe from Rihanna or something, or the other day I heard Jared Leto, which I thought was quite good. But it kind of seems like all the modern bands, I'm not talking with guitar bands, but the kind of electronic bands all seem to have the same sound, like a it's like they're kind of like DJs almost, you know, and they have big collaborations with all kinds of people, and then they have this kind of like slow build up for the verses, and then the chorus is just like almost in double time each time, you know, and they're more like anthems really, but they don't seem to be, to me, to be songs so much. But to be honest, I don't know very much of the modern music, but they do seem to use as well the same reverb on the vocals, on everybody, you know, and they have this it's not auto-tuning, but they seem to kind of they create the melody with the synthesizers rather than writing or singing the melody in the first place.
It's like a formula.
Yeah, well, it's strange because they, you know, when you've in the UK as well, when we had like somebody, for instance, like Amy Winehouse, then you get like 20 more people sounding like her, and it's the same with like Adele. You have 20 more girls sounding like Adele, 20 more boys sounding like Ed Sheeran. So it's kind of like identikit music, you know.
I know yesterday you have a show in Arequipa, today here in Lima, Peru, and the next days you're gonna fly to Paraguay and other Latin American countries. There are many gigs.
Yes.
But I'd like to ask you, what was your record to number of gigs in one week? Do you remember that, or can you tell us?
I can't remember in 1 week. I know, I mean, I've sat down before and I've counted the shows, you know, the number of shows that we've done all through the years, which was, I can't remember how much it was, but it was more than 500. But I know that we've done tours that have lasted 1 year and a half, you know, like with supporting right in the beginning Duran Duran, then supporting David Bowie, then going on our own, and now the same time we supported Robbie, now we're going on our own. So now you don't have to do so many, but I do remember maybe doing 5 shows in a row or 4 shows in a row, which is really a lot, you know. And before I could do 3 shows in a row quite easily, but now it's you know, 2's enough.
But your voice is fantastic. Do you have a special care to your voice?
Well, to be honest, I stopped smoking being on tour, although I love to have a cigarette after the show. But I think it's mostly by having rest, not partying how I used to do, you know. I mean, it's not all the time. But as you grow older, you just have to look after yourself more, you know. So that's what I do, and I just really love the singing, and I always feel like you kind of have to improve, you know. And if you don't, well, I'm sure I'll get to a certain age, maybe like 70 or something, when you can't improve anymore because you're too old. But until then, I'd like to keep exploring my voice. Yeah.
Congratulations, Andy. And I'd like to thank you for your time. If you want to tell something about our audience of Radio Oasis.
All right. Hola, Radio Oasis. Yo soy Andy Bell de Erasure y ustedes escucharnos esta noche o durante el día, yo no sé.
Excellent message in Spanish. Thank you so much, Andy.